Is there a perfect rifle setup?
Oh, I hate you. No. No.
Because when I won't say when I first got into guns, but when I kind of went down the rabbit hole a lot further,
Sure.
I started trying to figure out, all right, can I build this perfect setup? Is there this perfect setup on a rifle that I can have that I know can do any and everything whenever I need it to do? And so as I'm learning, as I take these courses
Right.
and I go along, I'm realizing, it's really kind of situation specific,
Right.
for the most part. But I'm going to ask you another question you hate. If you only had to have one rifle and you could set up however you wanted it to, you don't know what type of engagement you're going to be in, you don't know what type of situation you may find yourself in, but you can set it up however you want it to.
Right.
I'm asking you this on the spot, but ideally, how would you set that up? Now, I know that's kind of unfair because there are probably going to be people who watch this and then take your word as gospel and say, this is exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to copy it verbatim. But just some of the things you would take into consideration if you were forced with that task.
It is a stupid ass question. Yeah. No, I can be honest with you. I would be changing my setup as I'm walking out the door.
Fair enough.
I would have a backpack full of tools and parts and accessories, and I'll be constantly changing it. Yeah. Like I said, if you walk in my house, you're stepping over gun parts everywhere because I'm constantly going down that rabbit hole. How can I, optimize this rifle setup? At the end of the day, what I take consideration with a rifle is one, weight. My days of carrying heavy stuff is over. So I'm always going to look, okay, how can I go with as little as possible, but making sure that I have an optimal capability. And the capability I'm looking for, and go back a little bit. Capability is the first thing you should list out or write out when your rifle setting up your rifle. And your capability is going to come from looking at your environment. So here, because of the thick foliage and in an open area, I got to be ready for that nice close shot, but then also take it out as far as the eye can see. Yeah. I mean, you can go down a rabbit hole with that too, but just those you want to look near far. So that's why I come to accustomed to having a magnified optic and an offset capability. Yeah. Length of barrel and what bullet you're going to shoot. Then you go down another rabbit hole. So
I can tell you what I've gotten. Like my preferences have completely changed.
Okay.
I used to be kind of big on 16-inch barrel setups. Now, just from taking your course and all the other experiences I've had, I'm more inclined to think somewhere in the range of ideally 11-inch, and a lot of it due to what I've been able to see from the capabilities of, say, my 6-hour Virtus, the 300 Black. Because I remember when I was talking to you about possibly bringing that, and I was like, I don't know, for the recce course, it might not be enough. I know people are largely going to be running magnified optic. You're like, no, bring it. Bring it. Come see what the limitations are.
Right.
And I'm not gonna lie to you, I was surprised what I was capable of doing with that thing.
Sure.
With running just a loophole LCO
Right.
and a little 9-inch 300 blackout with the suppressor.
Right.
And now, granted, I was going through a lot more ammo than most other people in the class.
Sure.
But I was still, if need be, I realized what I can do with a red dot and a low 9-inch 300 blackout. Right. So for me, it's for someone in the environment that I typically live in, say urban environment, I live in the big city, to me that's ideal for that.
Right.
Like that's what I would do. Now, in a situation like this, I'm probably gonna do some variable powered, offset, red dot, and so forth. But for you, I become kind of a weight queen too.
Right.
Where I'm just like, because after doing this course here, because scope carabine, there's a lot more laying down, it's a little more chill. Coming out the recce course, walking over the rocks, the elevation, the hills. I mean, after a while with the backpack, plus you're thinking, okay, ammo, how much ammo I want to bring, how much size backpack. Okay, now you got to think about this gun that I'm working. I'm like, okay, yeah, like.
Like I said, it's a thinking person's game, and you just gotta. But at some point, you gotta stop the table and say, hey, this is what I'm gonna roll with, and master it. And so that's why I said bring your 300 blackout out And yes, past a certain point, that bullet's going to struggle. Past a certain point, it's going to be hard for you to, hold on your target, and so on and so forth. You don't have any adjustment for wind. So, but at the end of the day, if you shoot it in that environment, you'll learn your limitations and you know what you can and can't do. But there's always a fix. So if you're at one position, you're shooting at 300 meters and you're struggling, the course is just not about shooting. It's about moving to points of domination. So get your ass up and move closer to your target using cover and concealment, so you can get those rounds on target. So there's always an option there. The option may not be optimal, but there's an option. But it makes you think about, okay, what do I have to do if I have to go with this setup? And at the end of the day, a person that masters one setup, really masters it, is a person to deal with. You don't want to deal with.
Yeah, you get on me about that a lot because I'm constantly switching.
Yeah, you're never really going to get really good at it. One of my instructors, Todd Hodney, he would love for people to say you can't do something with a certain bullet, weapon setup, barrel length, whatnot, because to him that was always a very appealing conversation to have, because he wants to go out there and prove you wrong. But in the process of doing that, you're learning so much about capability of the rifle setup, scope, whatever he may be doing. And so I kind of fell in love with that process of don't believe everything you read, a form, or it's great, take the information for what it is, but until you go out there and run it and test it yourself, you're really not going to have any personal testimony of what you can and can't do. And I like to have that. And I get that a lot from people who come in with different setups, because I get to watch them do it. And so I have firsthand knowledge of experiencing, but then at the same time, I get to assist in that process, So at the end of the day, you'll probably see me out with a cart with a bunch of yard sale of stuff, and I'm going out there, and I'm always be changing it up. It's I enjoyed. Industry has grown so much over the last 20 years. There's so many options out there, and as individuals, I think we just use your imagination and do what you want to do, but then take the time to whatever you build as far as a rifle setup, to go out there and run it, and know from your experience how it runs, the capabilities, so on and so forth.
Right now, there's a culture war against the Second Amendment, which is why I need your help spreading our message to counter their message. You can help do this by leaving a comment, sharing this video, and clicking the bell and subscribe button. Let my voice be your voice, and let them know you want to keep America tactical, because the right to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed wasn't a suggestion, it was a directive. Also, if you're wondering where to purchase your AR-15s are essential, I will not comply. I am the militia. I lost all my guns in a boating accident, and your state-specific Keep America Tactical shirt, click the link next to my head or the link in the description section. Or if you're watching this on a mobile device, tap the small triangle on the lower right-hand side of this video and click the link in the description.